What's happening? Thank you for tuning in to the NBK network. This is the NBA report. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Uh, you see, this is Ron and Jon. We're from Still Knicks Fans. We're here to do a nice little quick Eastern Conference show for you, should I say. Thank you for tuning in last week to our first ever show. This is going to be our second edition. Hopefully you like what we got to say. Jon, man, listen, I think we should get right into it. But before we do that, I want to give a quick shout out and salute to the people who are in the chat, showing us love. Thank you for tuning in.
Already.
Drew, the Queen's Court, Funky Goose World. That is a hell of a name, man. Funky Goose World. All right.
Yeah, salute, man.
Thank you to Geraldine McIver, Hector Gaston. Oh man, Jose Astorga, let's go. I like that guy. He's a faithful. He's a faithful.
Yeah, he's definitely is.
Deron Wayne in the building. Matthew Jammer. Thank you for tuning in, guys. We appreciate y'all. But without further ado, let's get right into it. The Washington Wizards are still holding strong at the top of the Eastern Conference at 10-4. The Orlando Magic are pulling up the rear. They're basically the cellar dwellers right now. They're 4-11, but you could never tell by the way they play our New York Knickerbockers.
That's the truth.
You know what I mean? Speaking of our New York Knicks, they are currently sitting kind of basically dead in the middle or so, but they're in the 7th position with an 8-7 record, and they're coming off a really bad loss versus the Orlando Magic. Yeah, it's a tough time right now, guys, but we're gonna get through it. So let me start off.
We laid an egg. I just want to say that
we definitely laid an egg, but we're gonna get a little bit more into our New York Knicks in a little bit, because I think we got to talk some people off the ledge as well as kind of give ourselves a little therapy. You know what I mean?
That's the truth.
So, but yeah, let's start off by looking at the top team in the Eastern Conference right now. And I'm still surprised, but I'm not going to keep doing that because you know what? Hey, I mean, they're still there. And that's the Washington Wizards. Yeah. The Washington Wizards are currently 10-4. The same cast of characters, Bradley Beal, Montrezl Harrell, Spencer Dinwiddie. They're still doing their thing for the Wizards. They have a big game coming up against the Miami Heat in Miami. And for the Wizards, there's a couple players that are still dealing with injuries. We know Thomas Bryant is out with the ACL. Spencer Dinwiddie is out. This is weird because I think he's out because of his knee, but it's kind of like a day of rest. But I don't know if he tweaked it or anything. They're calling it like a special day that they already forecasted in the season for him to be out. So I guess it's a day of rest. Right. And Davis Bertans is out as well. Right. So I just wanted to ask you really quick, Jon, because, the Washington Wizards is one of these teams that, like, I'm still trying to figure out what they are. So I'm wondering if you had to look at them, do you think they are contenders or pretenders?
It's hard because it's a small sample size, right? This is a very small sample size. And I don't know if I can answer that without seeing them play at least 30 games, right? So, I mean, we're close to 20 games in. So on a whim, I'm going to say they're contenders just because I think they've played well so far this year. And they've played against a nice group of teams that are that most people were expecting to win the East. And there's a lot of injuries, of course, that have played a role this year. But for the most part, they've been consistent. And the one thing that does stand out for me, though, is their defensive rating. Outside of the game that they played yesterday against the surprise team that I have, the Charlotte Hornets, who beat them. They won against their matchup yesterday. I see the Wizards playing really strong defense. I mean, by all accounts, they have the number one defense in the East, if not the NBA. I think the NBA is probably the Warriors, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, I agree with you. I think it's tough to say because it is a small sample size. But when we're talking about these teams, and I'm asking you this stuff. Let's just pretend like the season were to end today, and like the playoffs are going to start tomorrow. So we'll do it like that and go from there.
Yeah, for sure.
The next team I want to talk about is
what do you think about them? Are you thinking they're pretenders or contenders? What is your thoughts?
Personally, I think that they're contenders. Yeah, I think there's something about that team that I just didn't give them credit for. And you got to realize that just like I think being a New York Knicks fan has humbled me a little bit. So now I'm starting to look at things differently. The Wizards have had a pretty solid team for quite some time, right? And then they hit a bump, in the past year and a half or so where certain
Who would have thought it was Westbrook that went in there and the Dinwiddie move away from Westbrook, it plays a lot better with Beal and sort of that group. So yeah, you got to have like-minded players and sort of they all got to gel on the court, because not necessarily it doesn't always gel, right? Like players, they may be stars, but they may not always gel, and that's a team that's actually, you can see it come to fruition right there.
Right. And I think that I definitely underestimated the fact that, they were probably just going through their own little ups and downs as a team, maybe the wrong personnel. They were having their own little issues that could be corrected in time. And I think they've kind of turned things around. What they showed us last year with the addition of Westbrook, I mean, because that team looked dysfunctional, showed me that they're a lot better than I expected. So this is probably not a surprise anymore. And what they're doing this year minus Westbrook is great.
And they had a good end of season too, right? They got in.
That's what I mean. Like they got hot and like they really, so that, that shows me something about that team that maybe, I definitely overlooked them. So kudos to the Wizards out there. And Wizards fans, if you're watching, you guys got a good team out there.
Got something.
So you should be happy. Yeah,
exactly.
So then that brings us to what I would say is the second best team in that division, and that's the Miami Heat, who are currently 10-5. And as I said, they're a team. They just came off a 15-point victory versus the Pelicans. And they're about to go up against the Wizards tonight, and this is the second of a back-to-back for them. So that, I guess, I mean, if you pay attention to that stuff, that gives the Wizards a little bit of an edge because it's not a back-to-back for them. But when it comes to good teams, it doesn't matter. They all play hard, and they can win every game. It doesn't matter. And they got the same cast of characters that are out. Markieff Morris is out. Victor Oladipo is out. And they've got a bunch of questionables, but those guys will probably play. So I would assume they're pretty much healthy. And
it's a good matchup. It's a good matchup.
I'm going to ask you the same question, man. What do you think? Contenders or pretenders?
I mean, we have to go with the history. I mean, Miami have been contenders for almost a decade now. So they're definitely contenders. Their front office and just the players they bring in, they make smart decisions. They're, for the most part, always contenders, and they look just to continue to be contenders for the foreseeable future. So yeah, I would say contenders. But I'm looking forward to this to find out how this game shapes out, because those both teams are defensive, right? So is it going to be like a 90s type of vibe where it was really like, low scoring, really good defense, or will it be a shoot 'em out game? With Bradley Beal, you can never tell, right? Bradley gets hot. There's no telling how much could happen, how much they can score.
Well, I mean, the other thing is Miami does have the fact that they're, a hot team on their side. They've won their last 3 games, so they're still playing very well.
Bam is playing out of his mind right now.
Yeah, and Bam is questionable for tonight's game, but he'll probably play. He'll probably play. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's going to be an exciting game. I don't know if it's playing on local TV. I don't have the NBA League Pass, so I would love to watch that though. But that's exciting stuff. Now, this one is a little different. Okay, so this is the Charlotte Hornets. They're the third team in that division, the Southeast Division, and they what can you really say? I mean, they have definitely been a surprising team. They're currently 9-7, and they're still led by Miles Bridges, LaMelo Ball, and Gordon Hayward. Miles Bridges is still shooting the lights out for the most part. He's still kind of keeping to that great 3-point percentage that he's shooting this year, which is still, I can't believe how good he is. or should I say, good he's been. The other thing is, they have come off really, really good victories lately.
Yeah.
And they have won, against the Warriors. They just beat the Wizards last night.
Right.
They're on a 4-game win streak.
They beat us.
They beat us. We're a part of that 4-game win streak. They beat the
Right.
Grizzlies. They beat the Knicks. They beat the Warriors, and then they beat the Wizards. So they're hot right now, man. They're looking like they're clicking. LaMelo has got that team together. They're balling. So my question about this team, because they haven't kind of gave us that pedigree yet. Do you think that the Charlotte Hornets are a real story, or just
you shifted it on me?
narrative?
I was gonna say Contenders.
No. They don't earn that yet, my friend. Not yet. But it's coming.
They're definitely they're the kind of real story I wish the Knicks were on right now. So I'm gonna peg them as a real story and not a fake narrative. LaMelo Ball has really shown and proved that he is a formidable point guard in this league, and it's early in his tenure. It's early in his growth. So if he's this good right now, I couldn't imagine once he gets a couple of years under his belt, he could be something we haven't seen before. Something close to magic. So.
Shout out to the
think
Ball
it's a real
family,
story.
man.
They got him one.
The Ball family. They got,
and the dad, listen,
something.
Shout out to the dad, man, because he told everybody. He says, "You think LeVar Ball is good? I got 2 other sons that are coming in."
Oh, you think Lonzo's good?
Lonzo, yeah. They said Lonzo
right.
is good. But he was very high on his youngest son, LaMelo. What's the second son? He's playing in the G League, right?
Jello is what they call him, Jello, but I can't remember his like birth name. I don't know.
I'm sure the chat's gonna put it on. The chat will put it on.
Yeah. If y'all know, definitely put it out there, man. Because I don't know why I can't remember it now. But he's definitely and he apparently is the best shooter of the 3.
Right.
Hey, man.
Listen, the Knicks may want to take a look.
LiAngelo. Thank you, Coach B-Ball TV, my man Noah. Appreciate you, brother.
That's right.
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, we got to look at that team. They're real. I like watching them. They're a fun team. I've always liked the Charlotte Hornets for whatever reason. I think it's their uniforms. So, don't judge me.
They got a nice bench. They got a nice core of players. They got a nice group of players. They mesh well. So we're going to see a lot of them. Actually, that's my sleeper team this year.
Oh, okay.
It was my sleepers team earlier in the season, right, when we had spoke about it. So,
yeah. No, it's true. So that brings us to the Central Division, and we're talking about those Chicago Bulls, man, winners of a bunch of surprising games to me. Like they've been knocking people off. Like this Chicago Bulls team is pretty special. And the funny thing about them is, okay, we know they're led by DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Nicholas Vucevic.
He's been injured, right?
But he's been injured. So, surprisingly enough, this guy, I mean, Caruso has picked up the slack. This dude almost had a triple-double.
Caruso's good, though.
I don't triple-double good?
I didn't understand why the Lakers let him go. Like, he was a very solid player and good defensively.
Yeah, man.
They miss him. They miss him now.
Yeah. And the thing is, they're so like they took a different approach than the Knicks. The Knicks wanted to build a good overall team so that we could sustain games. When our bench came in, we could kind of push the pace and keep doing what we're doing. The Bulls said, forget that. We'll get Caruso and have him come off the bench, but we're going heavy on the starting lineup. And that starting lineup is doing it.
They're playing well, and they lost the young the second-year player, right? To injury.
He got lost in the Knicks game, actually.
Yeah. So.
Oh man, yeah, that was tough. So, I mean,
they're contenders for sure. Contenders.
Okay.
Yeah. They've sort of done the role reversal with Boston right now, because that was Boston. Boston was what the Bulls are right now, and for whatever reason, they've sort of not been that same team, and the Bulls have taken the reins there.
Yeah, no, it's true.
At least so far.
The Bulls look really, really. I mean, after all them Jordan years and kind of despising the Bulls, I gotta say they're a fun team to watch. And
No, they
you
are.
know, I do like the fact this is tough. Like when you look at these teams that you've kind of not liked all these years, it's different when they get like younger players, and it's like it kind of cancels out some of that old hatred you have for the team because it's different people. So
It
I gotta
is,
respect that.
but you know, it's hard as a Knicks fan to root for any other team.
Right. This is
It's
true.
very difficult.
This is true. But I
We
would give
are
them their
doing some
credit.
research though, so give us
I'm giving
credit.
them
We're
their credit.
trying our best.
They look really good. They're out
Right.
there doing their thing,
They're
and
good.
you know, kudos to them.
Right.
So, you know, somehow after all the laughable stuff that people talked about the Cleveland Cavaliers and how you know they were going to be a struggling team, and what are they doing in the offseason? All these bigs they got, all like how they were putting the team together. They're 9-7 right now.
Right.
9-7.
Big injury though. Big injury to the Rook.
Yes, that is a
So,
big injury.
That Mobley injury, that's gonna be tough because now you're down Kevin Love, Mobley, and they haven't. Did they bring up a report on when he's back? I don't think they've.
No,
brought that
I was
in
trying
yet.
to find the injury report, but when at the time that I was looking at it, didn't pop up yet. So you know how they do.
Yeah.
And you know they currently lost 2 games, so you
Right.
know when
That
health is
shows
definitely
you,
an issue.
but that
Yeah.
shows you how good Evan actually is because he is that centerpiece around that offense for that team. You know, he does so many different things really, really well. You know, and so I hope it isn't something serious because I would love to see a career that continues. You know, and not
Mhm.
plagued by injuries because the kid has so
Right.
much upside. So,
Yeah, it's
you
true.
know, I wish him all the
And
best in his recovery.
Steph from the Queens Court says Love is back, but is he though?
Is he?
Is he?
Yeah, you don't know
You
anymore
know
with
what I
Love. He
mean?
hasn't played
Is
full
he?
season, and even when he comes back, he goes back out, right? Like, and it's basically his back, right? Isn't it like spinal?
Right. That's tough. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and that's no knock on the Cleveland Cavaliers, man. I wish them the best of success. I hope all their players can come back healthy. But there's something up with Kevin Love. I think
Right.
he's just out there. He's got a commitment to it's a job for Kevin Love.
Right.
He's got to show up for work. But I don't know if he got it
to
anymore,
get that
man. I
paycheck.
don't know.
Hey, Steph.
Yeah,
Steph is also giving us some information on Sexton. Is remains out as well.
Yeah, Sexton still remains out because he's got that MCL sprain that he got. So I mean, that's this is tough. This is tough. They're going through a little bit of injury, and it's affecting their team because other than that, they were playing really good. And you know, I think you should already know where this is going.
Oh, for this team, they're a real story if Mobley's still around. If it's something serious, then the narrative changes. So I'm gonna call him a real story until we hear otherwise. I think Sexton is a key player too for them. You know, because he's that scoring threat.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not. I would say real story unless injuries start to plague the team, and then at that point they just become a narrative.
Right. No, I agree with you. I think they are a real story as well because of what we saw. You know, when we saw them live. You know, well, not live, but you know, witnessed them play the Knicks and how balanced that team looks. The young, the speed, the big, the height, the toughness. Like they got a little bit of everything, and that's a nice mix they got over there. So I think they're a real story. Yeah,
I agree.
And lastly, the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, I'm
fake narrative.
I'm just gonna put this up because that needs to just you know
Pretenders.
What I mean? I should just take away the Pretenders and just leave the Contenders up. All right, they earned that. They earned that.
Defending champs. Come on, like, you can't discount them. Stop.
Yeah. Come on, man. Milwaukee did their thing, yo. This is the Milwaukee Bucks won the championship, y'all. Come on, I gotta give them their credit, man. They 7-8 right now, but
and they're starting to get healthy.
I was gonna say, but if any team has been burdened and struggled because of injuries, it's them. So now that they're starting to get healthy, I expect them to go on a nice run. Nothing's really changed. They're still led by Giannis Antetokounmpo, Chris Middleton, oddly enough, because he hasn't played, but as far as point goes, he's still like second, on the team, whatever. Grayson Allen is still doing his thing. But that's going to change because Drew Holiday's numbers are starting to pop up. They're creeping up. So he's probably going to overtake him as third on scoring. And they're still, they're still going through the same issues with injuries and they're trying to get healthy. And it's definitely hurting them. And that's why they have a 7-8 record. But don't be fooled by that, guys. Milwaukee Bucks are a legit team. They're good.
Definitely.
They're good.
They're good. As long as they stay healthy, like you said.
Yeah.
Shout outs to the chat, man. They got a lot of good information they're sharing.
The chat is popping, man. The chat is real. I love all these guys in the chat, man, because they're loyal to the Knicks and they also watch the NBA, man. They fans. They real.
They are fans, yeah, for real. The most knowledgeable fans are Knicks fans. That's without question.
Say it again for the people in the cheap seats. They are. They are. So that brings us to the Brooklyn Nets, who are 11-5. Man, every time I talk about what the Brooklyn Nets are, I just get frustrated because I cannot believe how quickly they turned it around, man. So fast.
I will say they are the narrative for the NBA season.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's not a fake narrative that we don't necessarily know if they're going to be contenders. Well, they will be contenders, but you know what I mean? They will be contenders, but they are the narrative of the NBA between them and the Los Angeles Lakers and the Warriors, right? Those are the teams who are, every time you switch a channel, that's all they're talking about. It's how poor the Lakers are doing and Kyrie and how well Brooklyn's doing without Kyrie. And then on the other side, you have, how great the Warriors are and how great, Steph is as a team player. I mean, he shares the ball like no other. So he's changed the game forever.
Yes, he did. He has. And they're still going strong. Kevin Durant is playing like a man possessed. He's definitely doing everything he needs to do to will this team to victories on any given night. Right. And James Harden is still trying to find himself.
But he does so many other things, right? Like his stats are always on the plus. I barely see him as a minus, right? Because if he's on the court, he may not be making shots, but he's, leading that team in assists while Kyrie is out. He is there. He makes a lot of turnovers. That's the one thing you got, that there's sort of minus on him, but he rebounds the ball well. And when he got his shot going, he's gonna be hard to defend. So, and they got so many weapons. There is like, how can they not be contenders with that many weapons? So
that is the truth, man. That's a monster squad. It's gonna be one of those we just have to, expect to be around. Got to keep watching.
It's okay though. We still run New York though.
Let them know, man.
They got
listen.
They don't even really have a real fan base over there, so it doesn't really matter. They can do whatever they want.
Don't think I'm just gonna move on without mentioning. You've heard it already. I'm sorry, Net fans. I'm trying to be impartial, but let me tell you something. There's certain things you just can't move away from. You cannot have the opposing player come into your building. It's one thing to cheer a guy and say, "Hey, when he shoots a shot, yay!" No. You don't do.
They were chanting for him. They were chanting
MVP, baby. They were saying MVP,
and they were screaming like he was their player. I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" Guys, it would never happen in the Garden. Never happen in the Garden.
Net fans, if you're watching this, that's not right. Come on,
listen.
Don't do that.
That's why New Jersey Net fans are dweebs. Point blank.
Hey, I didn't say it.
That's right.
I love you, Net fans. I love you guys, man.
I'm from Brooklyn. And ain't no Brooklyn Knights really rocking with the Nets. Sorry, it ain't happening.
Yeah. All right.
We rock. They rock the Net hat just to rep Brooklyn, but that's about it. They're not repping the actual team, and that's a straight fact.
Oh man. Oh, it's hot.
I'm gonna give it to them hot. It's all good.
It's hot. The lights are hot. Then that brings us to the Philadelphia 76ers. And the Sixers are, they're a interesting team, man, because they've been dealing with a lot of injuries, and they're more of health protocol related. So they've had to try to win these games without their starting characters, without real direction, no star players. They got a couple players that are adequate. They're good NBA players, but it's been really tough for them, and they've lost 5 in a row, which brings them to their 8-7 record. No Embiid, still the same thing. They did get Tobias Harris back, but it's
not the same team. It's not the same
tough.
team.
And because of that, look at this.
Yeah. That's a tough one, but I'm gonna go with fake narrative because they were one of the teams that everyone expected to be top 3, top 4. It doesn't look like they're gonna be that. It looks like they're gonna be under that, under that threshold, right? Because if you look at the beginning of the season, ESPN had them like number 3, behind, or maybe 2 behind, directly behind the Bucks. So most predictions had them behind the Bucks, if not 3rd, so behind Miami. So I think it's a fake narrative. I think if they're going to get in the playoffs, they're going to be somewhere in the bottom, maybe 8, 7, fighting for that last spot.
Yeah, no,
unless they get unless they get Simmons back and everything is kosher, everything is good, and everybody's back to to happy thoughts and
right.
and they play well, and at that point, then you got a full squad, and then their story becomes real again. But as of right now, I don't see that. I think it's a fake narrative.
I agree with you. I think that's just what it is. It is what it is, guys. We gotta just say it for what it is. They got a lot of issues over there. Once they get guys back healthy, they're still not going to be full strength because they don't have Ben Simmons, and that is a piece that really helped them succeed last year, win all those games, and get into the playoffs. Regardless of what you say about him in the playoffs and who he is,
his defense is top notch. Regardless,
it's incredible. It's incredible. Right. Talk about lockdown. I mean, forget it.
All right, moving on.
Yes. Yeah. And so, that would get us to the next team, which we will cover right now. And that would be the Knicks. So I think it's time for us to jump into our Knicks back page.
Yes.
Here we go.
Finally.
Oh, boy. Okay, guys, listen. First off, let me just talk you guys off. John loves to say it. Know the ledge.
Know the ledge.
If there's ever a time for know the ledge, it's now. Don't jump. Don't take that leap yet, okay? We're Knicks fans. We've been through worse, all right? It's a long season. Should we have lost to these Orlando? Should we have lost to the Orlando Magic again?
Hell no.
Of course not. Of course not. But you know what? We got to give it to Orlando. Orlando is coached well. They may not have the talent that other teams possess, but they're coached well. They have the right idea out there, and that sometimes turns into good execution, better execution than our Knicks. I'm going to let you talk about this, John, because I already have my spiel.
I was just about to say that. I was about to say, you vented, you got it all out.
No. I'm going to let you talk about this, brother. I got my spiel. I know what I got to say about these Knicks, but what do you think about what's going on with them currently, right now?
Real quick, the one thing I have to say is that they need to find their rhythm as a team. Right now, they don't have rhythm. Regardless of what you may think or think about the new acquisitions, whether you feel they're a good fit or not, at the end of the day, they're professional players. All professional players have to do is find their rhythm. Once they can find their rhythm as a first unit, then we'll start to see things, coming at more unison. You start seeing players knowing where they need to be offensively. Defensively, I didn't think they played poorly. There were moments where they were up in people's faces and they hit shots, right? Especially Orlando, they hit shots with guys running at them, So it wasn't like people were losing assignments. But one thing that we failed to do against Orlando is hit shots, right? And poor free throw shooting. And I'll keep saying this: if you don't rebound as a team, and you don't hit your free throws, you're going to make it very difficult to win winnable games. Right. And so we have to get over that hump. So it starts with rhythm. Some people like to call it energy. I like to call it a little bit of energy and rhythm. Once a NBA professional finds their rhythm, it's hard to stop any one individual in the NBA because they're professionals. They're legit the top 3,000 players in the world. Right. So you got to give them credit. And that's the same thing when I look at someone like Terrence Ross, who always finds his way to come ready to play the Knicks, right? he's just one of those guys. He like marks it down on his calendar. It's something about the Knicks that he really enjoys playing against. It doesn't matter what the lineup is. It doesn't matter who we have on our team. He's coming ready to play. So, like I said, we just have to find our rhythm as a first unit. I think the second unit, of course, as we all can see, have their rhythm, and they play really well. And that's all we have to do. Let's see if we can up the tempo and get some wins, because we need the next two. Like, this was a disappointing loss. And that's all I really have to say. I ain't jumping off the ledge yet. Now 30 games into it, man. I'm going to be like, yo, we need to start looking for Simmons to come on this team. Now, I'm just saying.
Don't do that, man. Don't do that.
We start bugging.
Don't do that. Don't do that, man. We don't need that.
Continue to lose games the way we losing them, then we have to do something, because you can't go into All-Star break with a losing record. You got to go into All-Star break with a winning record, right? And so, in my mind, are we a 500 team? Are we a 500 team at this point, right? We're 8-7. Are we a 500 team, or are we a winning team?
Oh, I got one for you. Hold on. Mm-hmm. Hold on, people.
Hey, you gonna hit me with that?
You know what I'm saying? What are we, B? I don't know.
Listen, we're always gonna be a real story, because we're the best team in New York. We got the best fans, and we got the illest jerseys, gear, everything. So we run New York, so we're always gonna be a real story.
Right, my city edition's in the mail, baby. We got that fire. Let's go.
The question should be: are we are we a formidable team this year, right? Because we're always going to be a story. We're always going to be the realest story in New York. But are we a formidable team? Listen, right now, we ain't looking the part. So I'm going to have to say no. Until we start getting some wins in, we're not a formidable team. So we got to get those wins up. We got to get into rhythm. If not, we got to make some wholesale changes, and everyone's up for grabs at that point, because ain't nobody here that is worth keeping, to be honest. At that point, now we have to really start looking how we revamp this team. But I say I still have faith that they'll get it together. So I ain't jumping off the ledge yet.
Well, I mean, I'm not either, man. I'm with you on that. Listen, we're gonna get it together. But you know what? I know there's a lot of bad stuff going on right now with Knicks fans. We're feeling really down on the team. We're not happy with the effort. We're not happy with what we see out there between the starting unit and the bench unit. But my quick fix, I've said it a couple times in different areas, different places. I said it last night on the post game. The Knicks need to go back to what they know. The starting unit needs to go back to feeding Randall the ball. Let Randall do his thing. If Randall gets double teamed, pass the ball to the rest of the guys and let them do their thing. And that's it. That's what the starting unit needs to do. The bench, just keep doing what you've been doing. And I guarantee you guys, we will start winning basketball games, because the problem while we're losing is not just how dysfunctional guys look and they don't know where to be and they're all missing shots. We're not getting any points from that starting lineup. We can't win games if only the bench is scoring. We need some points. So let Randall do what he's used to doing, and we'll be all right, guys. I'm telling you. But you know what? I don't want it to seem like it's all bad. You know what? We've been hoping for some things to happen for quite some time, because Tibbs has kind of been having people flounder out there on the team. We still want them to free Grimes, right? But you know what? Someone did get freed. My man got freed. Miles Duece McBride, folks. The Duece was loose
in the
last
G
night.
League.
Westchester. The
29.
41 minutes. 41 minutes.
Talk about it.
He had 25 points.
29, assists. No? I thought it was 29.
No. He had 25. 25.
Okay. See, I gave him
9 assists. And somebody gave him 35 points earlier today, so it's okay. 25 points, 9 assists, and 5 rebounds. So you know what that means, guys? Duece was on the bench like, don't let me get out there. I'm going to go crazy on these dudes. So, and he looked great, man. He looked good.
He looked sharp, man. And it's good to see, man. It's good to see.
Yeah. Duece was loose, B.
Look at you looking happy. Like Clyde.
I'm happy, man. You don't understand. Like, my favorite player on the Knicks right now is RJ Barrett. But my second person that I'm really looking to break out and do good with the Knicks is Duece. Right. Like I want him to do what he's got to do, man. But it'll come in time. As Thibodeau said, Thibodeau likes Duece. He said some good things about him when they asked him about him. But he said, like every rookie, he's got to learn how to play in the NBA. So let's just give it some time, guys. That's all we can do. But at least he's playing with Westchester, so we can follow him there and see what he's doing.
Yeah, see his progression.
Yep. So, I don't think we need to really touch more on the Knicks right now, guys. We know what's going on. John has already given you, what to look forward to, what to expect with them. I've given you what I think they should do in order to fix this and get back to their winning ways. We're going to talk about the Knicks on our other shows, and you're going to see Knicks.
Yeah, tune on to all
it's
types
of all over
Nick
the place.
content.
Don't worry about it.
BK Network
just
and
be
all
patient. We're going to be all right. I think what we should get into is even more positive news. Somebody who really did their thing for the Knicks in the past couple games. He's starting to really blossom. He's been playing good defense. This is my man. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The Biz Marquee Player of the Week is none other than IQ, Mr. Emmanuel Quickley. What you think about how IQ's been playing, John?
Hey, listen, man. He started the season out as poor as any player can start, and he's turned it around. You got to give him credit, man. The kid stays in the gym. He stays, confident, and that's really the reason why he's playing so many minutes, and one of the reasons why Coach Tibbs trusts him, because he doesn't change, right? He won't change on you, regardless of if he's taking poor shots or good shots. He's not afraid to take them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And when he's hot, he can get off on some runs and he can keep you in games, and that's super important. What I want him to get stronger, of course, but if you look at him, he's getting better every season. This year, he in his bag is now a new defensive player. Right? You didn't see this sort of defensive type of minded player in his first year. His second year, he's bringing it. He's really, up on everyone's chest, especially, point guards. He's not really giving people free lanes. He's playing really solid defense, man. So you got to give him all the credit in the world, man. Love him, and I love the way Toppin is playing, both IQ and Toppin. But, flowers to IQ for this week, man. He's been, really, really strong for our bench. It plays really well with D Rose.
I agree. He's been out there. I like what you're talking about, how he be pressing up on guys. He out there looking like he's Duece. I'm like, this is what we brought Duece in for, and IQ's doing it.
IQ say, hey, you ain't gonna get this starting role that quickly.
Right.
Hey,
did there. Yeah, man. Salute to IQ, man. He's really starting to come into his own. I think he's just going to get better, and hopefully, he's got his confidence back, and we won't see any of those prolonged slumps. He might have a bad night here or there, but I don't think we're going to have a stretch of games where he plays badly. I think he's learning how to really do other things on the court. So salute to him.
Yes, definitely.
But you know what? If we're going to talk about guys who really know how to play basketball, we look back in the past, maybe like a blast from the past.
Yeah, and that would be our guy, Willie Knowles, who averaged a double-double with an average of 19.3 points and 10.7 rebounds per game during his 7 years tenure with the New York Knicks. And he appeared as an NBA All-Star 4 times. The Knicks named him their captain in 1960, making him the first African-American athlete to hold a position for any pro team in a major American sport. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about.
All right. That's what I'm talking about, man. Listen, Mr. Willie Knowles, once a Knick, always a Knick. Salute to you, sir. We appreciate you. We need that.
Listen, that's a legend, right? That's an NBA
exactly.
legend.
We need that. We need that old school stuff to hit this Knick team.
But that's the history that we bring. That's why we would never lose New York. He is the first first African American captain in any sports franchise. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Facts.
Listen,
Facts.
Come on, son.
Yeah. Salute to Willie Knowles, man. Thank you. Appreciate you.
New Jersey Nets, what? No, let me stop.
Right. What? Yeah. When they go back in history, they got to go to a different state. Nah, B.
All the
chill.
way together. They got to go to the ABA.
Nah, B. We good. Once again, before we get out of here, I want to just give a special shout out to everybody in the chat. I see y'all, man. You're keeping the chat popping. You got a lot of stuff going on in there. You're talking. You're knowledgeable Knicks fans, man. Salute,
Mr. Everything said garbage Knicks.
Yo, man, come on, B.
It's all good.
It's gonna be all right, man. Don't do us like that. Shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to Sima Singh. Thank you for tuning in. Don't mind me. I'm just gonna go through these real quick. I just want to give y'all a quick shout out. The Public Enemy #1. This dude, man, he everywhere, man. Appreciate you, brother. Carlton Vincent. Like I said, don't mind the words. I'm breezing through, but I want to give everybody shout outs as much as we can. Zaul Martinez, thank you. Salute. Appreciate you jumping in. Mr. Everything, even though you say the Knicks is trash or whatever, I'm still gonna give you a little shout out. But that's it, yo. You gotta change your tone, bro. David L. Ran Rock, what's up? Salute, definitely. Thank you for tuning in. My man Pudge Nice in the building. Salute, bro.
Yes, salute, Pudge. What's going on?
Alton Lee.
Alton Lee,
another
salute.
one. They coming out the woodwork. Yes. Did I already mention Geraldine McIver earlier?
Well, let's do it again.
If I didn't, I apologize. I definitely want to make sure I shouted you out, Geraldine.
Much love.
You are a
Day
real
one.
Knicks fan. You show every show love. We appreciate you over at Still Knicks Fans. You know how we do. So definitely, Mr. Demon, Kerry Cox. Appreciate you. Kerry Cox is another one I see in all the circles, man. He's always giving his time. He supports nothing but Knicks a lot. Thank you. Chevion Productions. Yeah, man. I mean, you pretty much get the gist of it, guys. I wish I could get through all of these and get to all of you. Xavier Black Wiley, appreciate you. But you get the gist of it. We want to show love and salute all you guys. We're gonna keep coming back and giving you more and more content. But that's pretty much it for this week's show. Thank you for watching the MBK Network. For more for more programming, please like, comment, and subscribe. And definitely hit that notification bell so you're notified when we come back on, or notified when there's anything content related from Nothing But Knicks, because we got a bunch of stuff on the MBK Network, from Steph and the Queen's Court to Tony Crow and Knicks and Bruises, the controversy with Josh, aka Uncle Fulio. And definitely your regular pregame, post games with Sim and the crew and the shoot around. So there's a bunch of content out there, and we hope you like us, seeing what we have to offer with the NBA Report. To see more of myself and my co-host John, definitely tune in to Still Knicks Fans. Our show airs on Tuesday nights, and we're just gonna keep coming back and hitting you with more and more content, man. John, you got anything you want to say on the way out?
Man, on the way out, man, just love and respect, man. Appreciate all of y'all. Appreciate it.
Appreciate y'all. Salute to my man Jose for holding us down the back too.